I'm arguing that we need to look at a social model for understanding why and how some children appear to be consenting to sexual activity that's abusive and violent and exploitative. All too often we focused on the individual child themselves. They were making lifestyle choices. She was wearing a short skirt, what did she expect? He was experimenting with his sexuality. Those sorts of assumptions place the focus, and therefore the blame, on the individual child. What we need to do is to move beyond the individual child and look at the issues surrounding them. I call that the social model of consent, and I've divided it into 4 areas. Firstly, grooming. We know from research that a lot of children and young people are groomed into exploitative situations by adults or indeed by other young people their own age. Secondly, poverty. We need to be much more aware of the fact that a lot of children and young people are living in poverty. Not all sexually exploited children and young people experience poverty, but the research shows that a disproportionately large number do. If a young person is appearing to be swapping or selling sex for a bed for the night, we've got to look at homelessness and other issues that are surrounding them that might mean they're trying to escape from poverty. Thirdly, the normalization of sexual violence. I remember interviewing a young man who was saying to me, "Why are you interviewing me? Why don't you interview the internet porn providers?" A lot of sexual violence is assumed just to be normal within a lot of pornography, and a lot of young people have access to this. We need to challenge the normalization of sexual violence within our communities. Fourthly and finally, willful ignorance. All too often we turn a blind eye to the sexual exploitation experienced by children and young people. No longer should we as professionals saying it's not happening in our local authority, or as individuals within our communities saying it's not happening on my street. We need to be much more tuned into and aware of sexual violence taking place and sexual exploitation across the board. No longer should we remain willfully ignorant about the extent of this. So I'm arguing we need a social model that shifts our focus from blaming the child and placing much more attention onto why and how we might be ignoring the violence that a lot of children and young people experience in their day-to-day life.